Welcome to the Gratitude and Attitude Podcast, an organic and sometimes hilarious ongoing conversation between two soul sisters who have a lot of gratitude and sometimes a little bit of attitude. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Gratitude and Attitude. I'm Pri.
I'm Nan.
And today we have a special guest. Carlos is in the house.
Carlos.
Carlos, you're special. You're here a lot, but you're still special.
We love having you here.
We do, yeah. We missed you on the last
Yeah, we
episode.
did. We really did.
Thank you.
And I guess we should just jump right in. Oh, catch up on the week.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. How was your week?
Again, busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, busy week.
Yeah.
A little chaotic.
Yeah.
Had a good workout today with your man.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he kicked my butt.
He's so good at that.
I literally, today, I literally almost cried.
I asked him.
He kicked my butt today.
I said, honey, how did Nan do? He goes, she complained a lot.
I did today. I cursed a lot, and I looked at him, and I just was like,
Did you make up any new curses?
probably.
You think?
Maybe. It was good, but I love it though. Even so I complain about it, I love it. And he's so good. And I worked out barefoot. He's like,
Oh, wow.
You're going to start working out barefoot. I loved it because I could feel like, I'm like, does it make it easier? If it makes it easier, I'm going to do it. So I took my shoes off because he's got me doing all these crazy rockers and walking. And I was just like, this is so freaking hard.
He's so like cutting edge.
He is. He is cutting
does.
edge.
Yeah.
I didn't like it, but I loved it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it
I
totally
hated it.
does. Except he told me this weekend. He goes, you're gonna hate working out.
You
with
will,
me.
without a doubt.
And I was like, I 100% believe that.
You're going to have a couple of arguments. I'm just warning you.
Yeah.
You will have a few.
Okay.
Because you're going to be like, I know you. You're going to be like, I can't do anymore. Like, I can't. I have to stop. And he's going to be like, no.
You say this because I used to spin in your group.
Yes.
And I only did it one time because the one time I came,
Oh, you were
stopped.
such a bad student.
I stopped in the middle of that workout.
you did.
And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I went and I crawled under a bush and I just lay there with my eyes closed. I also hadn't, like, I don't know, I had been like intermittent fasting and doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I hadn't
Got
eaten.
nauseous.
I did. I got horribly nauseous. Then I ate something that we thought I'd have.
I'm like, go get a banana in the house.
Yeah, you didn't feel bad for me even a little bit.
I'm like, did you eat? Well, not really. I said, you can't take this spin class if you're not eating. It's very hard because we did it outside. Like, in the like I had 15
I was
bikes.
like, I'm sorry, where's the air conditioning?
There's no air
in here?
conditioning. No.
There is no air conditioning. And then I was like,
hot.
she would like, turn your.
Carlos, you are fired.
Carlos, fired. You just put on the DND, no less.
I did.
You did.
I guess. Oh, well.
It's okay, Carlos.
Yeah.
You get a pass.
Carlos.
I give you a pass. I don't know if she's going to give
You
you a
just
pass.
fired him.
I didn't mean it.
You went, Carlos, you're fired.
I'm
Carlos,
fired
I
again
didn't
and
mean
again.
it.
And then
How many times you fired me before?
she goes,
No.
Carlos, you're fired. 1,000, 1,000. You're hired
Yes.
back again, Carlos.
You'd have to do a lot worse than that.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to her story. She didn't eat anything.
I didn't eat anything.
So, but she comes
But
up
I
to
did.
me.
I did say, I can't do this anymore.
She's like, I don't feel so good.
I said, I feel terrible.
Yeah.
I'm going to go lie down. And I literally
She did.
laid down under a bush that was on the side. I laid in the dirt. I didn't. care. And when I got up, there was like dirt on my arms and like all over my shirt. It was just a terrible experience.
I think you did my booty boot camp.
No, I
didn't?
never did that. Are you
Have you
crazy?
been there twice?
I went
think
to
you came-
spin twice.
Yeah.
I said to myself, I can do better than the
Yeah.
first time. And I did exactly as worse.
You definitely, I've had girls like vomit it's because of the heat. You have to stay hydrated.
And let's be very clear. Like, it was a friend group. It wasn't
Oh
like a
yeah,
license.
no. It was just friends. It was just friends spinning.
It was like buddies all getting
Yeah.
together. And Nanny had sort of amassed all these really nice
Yeah.
spin bikes. And they were like in this big circle.
yeah.
And I was like, this looks intense when I showed up.
It was a little intense. It was good.
So you had an intense workout this morning.
I
That's
did.
all that to say.
Yeah,
You had
very intense. And it's funny because I've been working out with him for years. So, but sometimes it's just, I just don't know. It could be like a tiny little change of motion.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Yeah.
it was tough today. It was really a tough day.
Yeah.
He goes, you haven't been doing what I've been telling you to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I have, but maybe with lesser weight. I don't know. Maybe my feet aren't turned in the right way, but it was tough. But I loved it though.
He's so good at it.
He's fantastic.
Yeah,
he's fabulous at what he does.
He's a smart
because
guy.
he knows like every little tiny muscle, like what's working what.
Yeah.
Like he's like, we work too much of the big muscle. We got to work the smaller muscles. And it was good. Carlos, maybe one day you'll come over and work out with us.
Oh no.
Why not?
Yeah.
She will be laughing at me. Carlos, you tired on the intro? We're just doing the intro. Aren't you tired already?
We're just warming up,
That was
Carlos.
the warm-up stretch, Carlos.
Carlos, that's not an exercise. That's a stretch. How are you tired?
He would say to me as my teacher in high school, say, you will be the water boy.
Well, guess what? Look how what you've ended up doing.
Yeah.
Anything but the water boy.
No,
for sure.
you're amazing. We spun together at the gym. He does good.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, enough.
You want to jump into our topic?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, you share it because this was something that's kind of near and dear to your heart.
Yeah. It's just disconnecting to reconnect.
Yeah.
And basically it's reconnecting with yourself, you know, and being connected. Basically what I'm saying is like being tied to your phone, not knocking social media or anything like that, you know, just if it's used, not overused, when people become obsessed with it and it pretty much takes up your life, it becomes a lot,
Do you know any of the statistics?
I don't, honestly. Okay. Did you look them up?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I'm going to share some statistics with you guys.
Because social media is important. I think it does some great things. I mean, we're on social media. We're doing, this podcast.
We want everyone to know.
It's not that.
We love that you're on social media if you found us on social media.
Yeah.
And we also obviously we're using phones.
Right.
This is not a don't use your phone conversation, but it is eye-opening. Okay, I'm going to give you guys some statistics.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so globally, globally, people spend an average of 6 hours and 40 minutes a day on their phone. 6 hours and 40 minutes.
A day on their phone?
A day.
How do they
on
work?
their phone. Wait, in America, that's globally.
Okay.
In America, it's 7 hours and 3 minutes a day.
But how is that possible?
That's adults. That's not kids.
That's after
You know how
work?
much kids use it? Teenagers? It's teenage girls use their phones between 8 hours a day, and teenage boys use their phone 9 hours a day. They're on their phone.
All night.
Screen time. And even during work, so let me give you this little stat.
Yeah.
Have you ever just checked your phone?
Yeah, to see how long you've been on? Yes, I have.
That kind of stuff? Okay. Let's see here. I tried to find, some of this stuff I found on the Mayo Clinic, the screen addiction page. They said, a place called crossrivertherapy.com said 47% of Americans self-identify as addicted to their phone.
Wow, 40%.
47%.
Oh, almost half.
Almost 50.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the average adult checks their phone once every 4 minutes.
That I believe.
Yep.
That I believe.
And in 2023, there was on PC Magazine, PCMag.com did a survey, and they said 144, an adult picks up their phone 144 times a day.
That's insane.
Millennials, who are not teenagers, but they pick up their phone 324 times a day.
How is that even possible?
80.6% of Americans check their phone in the first 10 minutes of opening their eyes in the morning.
That I believe.
86%. Now, if you use your phone as your, like if you use your phone as your alarm.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch my phone out for an alarm.
I don't use that. I keep my phone in the kitchen.
Do you have an alarm clock?
Yeah. It's Alexa.
Okay.
Just set my alarm. I tell her every night and she's, because if I keep my phone in my room.
Yep. So here's the most shocking of all the numbers. You ready for this?
Yeah.
The average person spends 12 years of their life staring at their phone.
Oh my God.
If you take that number and you average it, and now listen, I did an exhaustive search because I was like, what?
Yeah. Because you're like,
I looked and looked and looked and looked and looked.
Yeah.
Like the statistics are like on various different, and they do it all like via surveys because on your iPhone, you can check your own screen time.
Yeah, it tells you like
You can
4
see.
hours, 5 hours.
Yeah. Like you can check that stuff. So it's self-reporting. That's the craziest part. People are actually telling on themselves. They're saying, yes, I did that. Anyway, all that to say, even if it's 4 hours and 30 minutes a day
still.
or 9 hours, I had like a huge argument with my nephew, my youngest nephew, not long ago. And by huge argument, like we're the best of friends. It's not hard. It's easy to talk to him, but I saw him looking at his phone because these kids are Snapchatting like crazy.
Yeah.
I refuse to get Snapchat.
Yeah.
I won't do it.
Well, what do you need it for?
I don't need it
Exactly.
to snap my nephews because that's how they communicate.
Well, too bad, right?
Well, I said no, absolutely not. This was a digital free zone.
Because you're just opening up another.
When they were little, all the way up until like yesterday when one of them came over, phones down in this house. Of course, I can afford to do that because it was just me for all these years, But even if you believe like the lowest numbers, it's insane how much people are on their phone.
It is, but you think about it, right? So I'm one of those people that get up in the morning. And so I get up and I go in the kitchen, I turn the coffee machine on and I check my phone. That's what I do. And I'll tell myself, don't check your phone. Do your reading, do your quiet time. Don't look at your phone. Because what happens is when I go to my phone, I start looking at my emails and I start looking at my text messages. I get so caught up in it that my quiet time just passes. Yeah. And so it's really bad for me. Like that's me, if I do that first thing in the morning.
And when you're a believer, that's how you want to start your day with the Lord.
And I get upset with myself. And it's kind of like you get
and
addicted.
then it's like its own yucky cycle.
It does, and I don't like it.
Rather than finding peace right away.
Right. Starting your day off peaceful.
You find the chaos of the world.
Right. It's chaos. And then I do, and I've always thought of how many times I check my phone because if it's on, like you can hear it, the ringer's on, if something's coming through, but you still check it. You still look at it. It's like, okay, wait, why am I looking at it? Because I would hear it come through. So why am I looking at it? It becomes like this crazy habit.
Oh, here was a statistic that most adults, they text back within 10 seconds.
Okay. That's another thing that bothers me.
Yeah.
And again, not knocking social media, not saying that it's a bad thing. It's just when it's abused in a sense, when it's used way too much, or like, I feel like
Are you calling texting social media, or are you moving on to social media?
Okay, so this is texting. So we're not talking about social media yet, but I'm just saying, even like with texting, like I think it's great, but this is what happens. People expect you to answer within a certain amount of time. Yeah. If you don't answer them right away, then they'll text you later. Well, you didn't answer my text. Did you get my text? Did you not get my text? And you're like, what is the time limit that you're supposed to text someone back? Like if you're busy and you can't text that person back, you're busy. Are you supposed to say, oh, I'm so busy, I can't text you right now, I'll text you back later? That defeats the whole purpose.
So I'll tell you what happens. This is kind of like a... Carlos, you can tell us what you think. There is like an auto response.
Yes,
that
you
can say, I can't talk right now.
Yeah, that is true. I have used that.
But why did they have to say it so? Why the programmers have to go, I can't talk right now. That's how it reads.
Well, everybody knows.
I can't talk right now, smiley face. Why don't they have that as
everybody
the preset?
knows when you send that, if it's the automatic one. You know what I mean? Everybody knows that's,
Yeah, but I still don't like it. It's not very civilized.
Well, I just think that you should text back when you can.
Yeah.
And just doesn't mean that you don't want to talk to the person, or I just think it's like you're busy, or I'll text them tomorrow. But why does everything have to be so now? That's the thing. Like now. Why can't it be?
What do you think, Carlos?
I think she's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because then then you feel bad. You're like, oh, I didn't text that person back. They're going to be upset. I didn't text them back right away.
I forget.
You do, but I'll say, oh, I am so sorry that I didn't text you back right away. I was very busy. I always explain myself.
Yeah.
And I don't like that either, because it's like, you don't have the right not to text back without saying why you didn't text back right away.
It's like it's like you have to keep your phone with you all the time.
Yeah.
You can't leave it on the kitchen.
Well, it's like it's its own enforced, it's its own enforced prison sentence is really what it feels like. And I guess when you said, let's do one on disconnecting to reconnect, I love that because it's so fascinating. I remember watching the boys. Now, my sister and her husband did not allow their teenage boys to have phones until they were like 16. They waited a long time for them to have phones because most kids have it at 12 or 13, even younger. And they didn't allow them to because my sister was stay at home and she was able to come pick them up, like the things that you would normally need for kids to be able to communicate wherever in the world they were. They didn't need it. But she also wanted to hold off on kids becoming so connected to their phone that they forgot how to talk to each other. Yeah. Because honestly now, like what we love to do, the three of us will actually go and sit at my island and talk.
Yeah, it's human connection.
We turn our phones down and we chat.
It's human connection. It's a lack of human connection.
And now kids, they don't seem to know how to chat. I'll tell you, the most charming young people I know are young, like teenagers who know how to have a conversation and chit chat. Do you know what a rarity that is?
Yes,
now?
it is a rarity.
It's sad. But it's because they're engaging fully socially with each other on the phone.
Right. No one's, and you don't even, I know it's hard even to meet people, but that's more of social media, remember back in the day when you'd meet someone, like you were set up or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so different, but that's another thing.
Yeah, that's a whole nother dimension.
Yeah, but, which is fine, but yeah, I just feel that the phones, like I went through a period where I told everyone, listen, my phone is off at 7:00 tonight. Well, I'm starting tonight. It's off, right? I've told you guys, and I'm not answering it. It's, if it's an emergency, I'm probably the only person in the world, maybe not the only person, but one of the only that has a house phone. So if there's a real emergency, call the house phone, But I decided to just start doing that, just taking my phone and turning it off.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not answering.
Yeah.
So
I
turn the ringer off. I did it for a while and then I get like caught up. I am one of those people that gets caught up and I don't like it is what I'm saying, so I'm very aware of how it makes me feel. I don't like to feel that way.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Like I said, I don't like to start my day when it's the first thing I focus on. And I don't like it at the end of the day because you don't sleep well either. Like if you're texting and you're stimulating your brain too much, they say it's not good. You need to be off the computer or off your phones,
for an hour.
Right? An hour before you go to bed.
1 hour before you go to bed.
Yeah. So I don't like to do that either, but I am one of those people. That's why I'm saying it's not just, I am too. And I do look at how long I've been on the phone and I'm like, my goodness, I have been on the phone a lot today. I mean, where did I find 5 hours, 4 hours to be on the phone?
You check your screen time?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and isn't the screen time, and it's texting also. It's everything.
Well, it counts it all.
Yeah.
And then what it does is your top 3 highest uses.
Right. Yeah.
So you know what my goal is going to be? Like
What's that?
just prepping for today's conversation.
Yeah.
I was like, how do I want to use my phone better? How do I want to use it truly as a tool and not as a time waster? Because there's such a huge difference.
Yeah.
And I decided that I'm gonna use it when I want to research things, when I want to learn. And it actually has a category that's like info and what else? It has like information and education or something like that on the iPhone.
Oh, it'll show you when you look at the
Yeah, when
time.
you do your breakdown on your screen time, it'll tell you how much is like information and then how much is texting.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of texting because I don't like writing long paragraphs. I really don't like to do that. I much prefer to get all my words like in a short conversation and be off the phone. So I did make the decision. I'm really glad that you said you want to talk about this because, and then the other thing I did was, I read this really interesting book once called it's Habits by a guy named Charles Duhigg. And he talked about how you can change your habit because the truth is being connected, overly connected to your phone is a habit.
Oh, yeah.
So the science of habit now, like all like the science, all the studies, all the science, the brain science of habits and how your brain does habits, you have to overlay another habit on top. So I actually put 2 books on my nightstand yesterday. And I was like, I'm going to turn my phone. I'm going to set my alarm. I'm going to buy a new alarm clock. I'm going to move my phone across the room and put it on silent, do not disturb until 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because that gives me time to wake up, get ready for the day, do my quiet time. And by 8, then I'm engaging with the world.
Yeah.
So those are 2 things that I decided to do. But the truth is like the idea of being disconnected is actually kind of considered a negative thing. Like people say the irony of the phone is that when people say, you know, that you're disconnected, like even like the Webster's definition of disconnected is detaching from something and isolating from something. And so of course people are like, I need to disconnect from my phone. For us, it's an incredibly positive.
Right.
meaning.
I mean, some people have kids and you can't like you want to keep your phone. I mean, if my son was in college, I'll have my phone on. I mean, I'm not saying that, you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to have your phone on, you know, you have young kids driving and they're out, you know, I totally not saying like that. I'm just saying when you're able to do it.
What I'm saying is that the definition of the word makes it something that seems bad, but in reality, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good to disconnect from the world. What I love that you thought of on the topic sentence when you said disconnect to reconnect.
Yeah.
You have to replace that connection to your phone with a connection to yourself, to your friends, you know, to your Lord, to God.
Yeah,
and
it's for your own growth too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because if you don't spend time doing other things, you just, you know. But I don't know. I just thought it was a good subject to talk about. You know, what about you, Carlos? What do you think about?
It is a good subject.
Because you're an IT guy, so you know. I mean, we're talking.
Society is changing too much. Everything is changing so fast.
Yeah.
And there has to be some control.
Yes.
And we have to be in control.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very good subject as well, yes. For families, for kids, for everyone out there.
Do you feel like you need to disconnect a little bit? Like obviously both of us are feeling like we're on our phones too much. And,
I've been doing some improvements on my life recently.
Yeah.
Like staying away from the phone before I go to bed.
Yeah.
At least an hour, 2 hours before.
Do you
Because
do
you
that?
started reading. You started reading
I began to read,
the Bible Priya gave you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that.
And I saw results right there next day.
Yeah.
You told us that.
I began to feel more rest in the morning.
Yes.
And I told my wife, I said, you know what? This is a must. And I will have to do this every day.
Yeah.
And I love it.
But you're leading your family well
it's
because
just
that's like a thing. You said that the kids listen to you reading that?
Yeah.
Right?
And we do some analysis on the lecture.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they love it. And it's like family time. It's like, nowadays it's mandatory to have a healthy family.
That's perfect. I mean, honestly, think about it.
Yes.
How many parents and their kids have phones and they try to have family time and their kids are like, I don't want to get off the phone. You know, like how many parents argue with their kids about being on the phone, like at dinner?
I mean, it's very bad.
Yeah.
It's we have no idea how bad it is.
Yeah, because you've experienced it.
Usually fathers, I wouldn't say they do it on purpose. Maybe they do. But they give tablets or phones to the kids so they don't bother them.
I know. I mean, I think growing up with my son, I was guilty of that here and there. It's like, okay, give him his little game and keep him busy. This will keep him busy for, an hour. Like, I've been guilty of that.
We are all guilty, but, in lesser or more proportion.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, because of that, I was like, 0 phones in my house. No phones, nothing. But they were just visiting me. They weren't living
I was just
going to
say that. I was going to say, I get what you're saying, but when you have it, when you're home and you're trying to get things done, and your kid is like, hey, mom, and you're like, okay, here, play this, okay, you can have your phone, let me just get this done. I've been guilty, of that. But I do have to think though, what really, my son's grown, but when I see like families and all the kids are on their phones, like at dinner, then that's what like you said, you miss that family time. It's hard to talk to your children about how was your day and, and tell us something new, or just in conversation when they're on their phone. But I do know that it's hard for parents because the kids want to be on their phones and they give them a hard time about getting off. I remember I took my son's phone away, he was in high school and it was like I cut his arm off. Like it was like, he was like mortified that I took his phone. It was like the end of the world,
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that that's what happens. They get so attached to it, and it's like their connection with their friends, and then But that's the way.
I'll tell you when things got super complicated was when schools were like, they need to be on this iPad. Like a lot of schools, like especially like, I don't know I think public schools do it now, but my nephews went to private school and they had tablets. Everybody had a tablet. The school issued a tablet to each kid. And they do it in like, some cutting edge public schools systems right now where the kids are doing their homework on tablets and stuff like that.
But they don't have access to
internet? Is that what
they have access to the internet because they have to research these things. They have to fill out, you have to go online on the web to access these portals to do their homework.
Yeah.
So then things get complicated where I think there's like, it's like a double-edged sword. On the one hand, like you're teaching kids to adopt technology and stay wide open and able to handle tech. But on the other hand, you could say, it's a tech fast. Like no tech right now.
Yeah.
And your kid is like, I have to do homework.
It's hard.
When in fact, they go into their room and they watch YouTube videos. I say that autobiographically because that was the way that my nephews would bypass my rules. So finally I was like, do all your homework before you come here. Like, you're always kind of trying to find your way around it, but
it's hard.
I'll tell you what I read. I read that when parents say, whenever your kid gets issued a phone, you have an agreement with them and you go, this phone is going to get taken away from you because there are some no phone zones around here. That's what and they start. You have to start early.
Because I would say, good luck with that.
Well, no. And listen, I've had kids at my table that were looking at their phones.
Yeah, but I think it's different. You're not the parent.
Yeah.
No.
So it's different. Like if I told...
But I didn't say anything to those kids.
You just said.
They're not my kids.
Yeah,
you said they're... I thought you just said that you tell them not to.
My nephews would not be able to use the phone.
Yeah.
You're right. I've been out to dinner with people who I love and their children, and their kids were on the phones, and I'm looking at them like...
You didn't say anything.
They didn't say...
No, of course I did.
But they probably would listen to you because you're not the parent.
Your nephew, they didn't say, why they have the phones and we can't? They
didn't even have phones, poor little suckers. They would say to their mom, Mama, everybody has a phone except for me.
Oh yeah, that's a famous line.
And she would say, if everybody was jumping off the Brooklyn Bridge, would you do it too?
Yeah, that's a line we all use.
But let me tell you something. My son,
yes, you had an experience.
He's 11 years old, and he told me a month ago, and he said, Dad, if I find a way to bypass the screen time on the iPhone, you would be upset with me?
Wow.
And I told him,
oh,
if you bypassed if you find a way to bypass and keep using your cell phone.
He has screen time limits on his phone.
Yeah, that would be something very smart of you because I don't think that's possible. But if you do it, just try to do it, but I will be checking on your phone from time to time. And I will know what happens. And guess what? He did.
Oh my God.
How he did it.
He figured out a way so you
Yeah.
can be able to see how much time he was on his phone.
No, he bypassed the whole thing.
He skipped the restrictions on the phone.
He just removed the restrictions.
Really?
found a
the
way.
one restrictions you put on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because before...
Well, he's got his dad's brains. You're an IT.
But he's so funny because he told me, will you be upset to say, at the beginning, I didn't want to say too much because I knew it was impossible.
Oh no!
But I guess it wasn't.
Well, let me
probably YouTubed it.
He already knew
yeah.
how to do it. He was just checking.
He was when he told me that he was researching.
Wow.
Yeah, but
He
I
was
bet
researching
you
on the internet and looking and out. How he did it, I don't know. He told me he forgot.
Wow.
And I told him, don't do it again because you and me will have problems. Okay?
Listen, don't teach him too much about all this IT stuff because you're going to be in big trouble.
He's like, the next question is, Dad, if I find a way to hack the CIA, would you be mad? He's going to be like a little black hat hacker now.
But he did it. To be honest, I Googled it. And I went to YouTube and I tried to, I couldn't find anything.
He found
because
a way.
because Apple pays hackers to bypass the system. And they pay rewards like 500.
So they can figure it out.
Yes.
Why don't you contact Apple and get paid for Sam?
Maybe I should do that, right?
Did it. 11-year-old little kid did it. Hello. Anybody could do it. Right?
He found a way.
And he was, and we began to notice because, Samuel, how you stay on the phone? Because you have screen time. But it looks like you're being in the phone for more than an hour.
Well, you had a little problem with him being on playing games, though.
Yeah.
Too, right?
Yeah.
And then you had to have a talk with him about that also.
No, but we're fine with him. We had to remove the computer.
Yeah.
Even on the weekends. And he just have some screen time during the week. And that's it.
Yeah.
He's allowed to use the computer, but just for homework and research. That's it.
Did you set it up in the main room? So
we take the computer out of his room.
Oh yeah, you can't.
Now we cooking something and he's right there.
Yeah, he's on the computer. But because you have to have control of it. Because if he's in his room, you really don't. Then honestly, he can get up in the middle of the night, get on the computer.
And that was happening. That was happening.
Yeah.
My sister said, and God bless him, I just love my nephew so much, but her younger one said to her, she went through a phase where she's like, he's not getting enough sleep. He's not doing his homework. Like, I don't know what's going on. So she took his laptop, put it in the main room of the house, and he had to do all his homework and all his studying at the dining room table. And he felt like he was a teenager, so he was like all mad about it. But he did say to her later, he goes, Mom, I'm so glad you did that because I would get caught watching fishing videos on YouTube. And she checked his search history, and there's like 1,000 fishing videos. I mean, first of all, how many fishing videos can you watch? But apparently, homeboy found them all and watched every one of those YouTube fishing videos. You know,
she's lucky that's all he was looking at. No, but seriously.
It's my nephew.
No, but I know, but he's still, I mean, that's the reality. That's what's out there. It's very, I know you don't like to think about it, but you really do nowadays.
There's no filter.
I mean, it's so scary.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's no filter.
There isn't. These kids can get themselves in a really bad chat room and thinking they're talking to an adult, a child.
And before, parents used to tell the kids, it's fine with YouTube, and how bad can it be?
Yeah.
And now YouTube, they have something called Shorts, which is something like Instagram, like
Reels,
like Reels.
Oh.
And these guys, they get hooked up to that because you can just swipe, and then they last for a few seconds. And it's the same as having an Instagram account or the other one, or TikTok, or something like that.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. And there's no way, I was researching that, there's no way to block your kids to not see those shorts.
Wow.
So at the end, you have to restrict the whole thing.
Well, and the other part is that everything that I read when I was doing all the research was the number one answer is to be as connected to your kid as you can be. But we really weren't even talking about kids. We're talking about ourselves,
right?
Because we have to set the right
Carlos
habits.
we're talking about.
No, I know, but really the most valuable thing is to have really good phone habits yourself. so that your kids see, oh, my parents don't do that. My parents aren't always on the phone. And I think that's really hard. I think people, in some of my research, we're talking about, like the things that people get kind of addicted to, and how this is a little, Apple has a screen time section in the settings where you can look up your screen time. On Android, it's called digital well-being. So if anyone has an
I
Android,
didn't know that.
yeah, it's called digital well-being on an Android phone. And the other part is that like there's so many negative effects of screen time and having all that screen time. And I guess one of the things, I wrote down some questions to ask myself about like, what are the pros of being on the phone and being overly connected? And what are the cons? Like, what's the best part of it? What's the worst part? And when I went through, there were very few good things.
Yeah, I was going to say, what pros?
Well, let's think about them. Let's do the exercise. Okay. What do you think is a good thing about having a phone?
I mean, emergencies, like, being able to get
Help. Yeah.
I mean, there's not.
Well, I like staying in touch, like with I like staying in touch with my friends, talking on the phone. I'm not talking about screen time. I'm talking about talking, using your phone for actual conversations.
But I think like
that's true.
The phones are great if they're just not over abused in a sense. So for me, like there's so many things that I don't mind scrolling and looking and doing stuff. It's just in moderation. So I can think of so many things that.
What are the negatives?
So that might be the magic word, moderation.
Right. Moderation.
Well, what
overuse? Overuse.
So overuse.
Too much scrolling. Too much. What else? What do you think? I mean, that to me is the biggest overuse with the phone. Yeah, it's just overusing.
But why? Why do people overuse it?
I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. It just becomes
a habit.
It's something you get addicted to. I don't know.
So I know why.
Why?
And I found this in my research.
Okay.
There's like there's a hormone released in your brain called dopamine.
There you go.
And many of these apps and also like Instagram, when you get somebody hitting thumbs up or liking or engaging in a post,
heard that.
It actually releases enough dopamine in your brain to equal
I heard that.
A line of cocaine.
Oh my gosh.
It's powerful.
That's what they say.
Maybe you don't feel it
I've never
way.
done it. I've never done coke.
Really? That's what they say? I haven't heard. I heard that it releases like these endorphins, like you get like that. It's like a rush of, but I never heard it.
It's the same exact like response when somebody likes your post. And that's why people are always checking. Like that's when you're putting content out there. But even when you're watching, like if you see something that you like, boom, that's like a hit of dopamine. And the dopamine, the way your brain works, the receptors in your brain, you need more and more and more and more to get the same high.
Yeah. It's all an addiction. It's an addiction. It's just like anything else. It's like you're addicted to your phone. And yeah, it's great to have easy access to things. I love that. I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying it becomes to a point where you're like, wow, I'm using my phone way too much. You just feel it. You just know it. I'm on my phone way too much.
Yeah.
Whether it's like you're not spending enough time with whoever you're with, your husband, your spouse, your boyfriend, your kids. You find yourself on the phone more. You're scrolling. One more minute. Let me just look at this. That's what I mean. I think that's the point.
Yes.
So the good things about having a phone is easy access, keeping in contact with people.
Yeah.
But I just think in moderation, if it's done in moderation, then it becomes more healthy.
Right.
Because then you start, like I wrote down, was your own self-growth. You can't, there's no growth from the phone, I don't think.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're reading like scripture off your phone.
That's
like,
good.
Self-help things maybe, but scrolling and how much shopping do we do? We do so much shopping on the phone.
Well, let me tell you, this is so interesting. I actually started mentoring a young person and we had the very first conversation we ever had. I was like, tell me why you want my help in your life. And he was like, I feel like I'm not living a really healthy life. And I look at you and you seem like a really healthy person. And I was like, well, thank you. And I said, but what makes you unhealthy? And he goes, I'm on social media way too much. 21 years old.
And he
And
said
this kid's going to go places. He's going to
he
be
even knows it. They
wildly
feel
successful.
it. Like, you know, when you're doing too much of something.
So I said, okay, well, we meet every 2 weeks. What's your goal in regard to socials for the next time you see me? And he was like, I'm going to take Instagram off my phone. And this was like sad and beautiful and sort of tragic all at the same time. He's like an incredible guy, incredible kid. He said, most of my friends are on Instagram. And he goes, we're all so busy. That's how we stay in touch. He goes, do you think that if I come off Instagram, I'll lose those friendships? Aww. And I was like, the only way to figure that out is to go off Instagram. And see. So 2 weeks later, he had taken it off his phone. See, he's like a doer. He's like a solutions-based kind of kid. Took it off his phone and he said, I only got calls from 2 people. And he's like very popular. And he's like one of those like super cool kids. And he said, I only got 2 phone calls from my 2 friends. And they both said, we noticed that you're not on Insta. Are you okay? Is everything all right? Yeah, right away they think something's wrong. Exactly. But they stayed in touch. So I said, well, guess what? Those are your 2 friends. Yeah. Those are who you should say, let's have coffee. I know that sounds like kind of a grown-up thing to do, but that's how you do it. Friendship is built by time spent together and proximity physically. That's the biggest problem with all this stuff. Right. And there's nothing wrong with Instagram, YouTube, and all that. There's nothing wrong with it. Let's just make that clear. I mean, we're here doing this. It's not that. It's just when it's overused, it's too much. When it becomes more of an not obsession, but an addiction, like you were saying, it releases those endorphins and dopamine. You feel, dopamine. And you feel like you just had cocaine.
But I think also.
It's crazy that they say that.
How related is the social media to anxiety, for example?
Oh, yeah.
Huge. That's a big deal.
Big deal. Yeah, people,
bipolar disorder. Yeah. Anxiety. Well, it's very related.
Why do you think it's so related?
Because people try to post themselves like something that's not real. Yeah. And then the person in front of the screen is trying to mimic, is trying to live somebody else's life. Yeah. Right. And then when they got off the phone, they see reality. Yeah. They see where they live. They see cups everywhere. They see a box of pizza in the floor. Yeah. And that's depression just right there. Yeah. They're not happy with the life they live in.
They want to live that fantasy life.
They go back to social media to replenish themselves with something that doesn't exist.
Really well said.
No, it's true.
I have to tell you what I'll tell you. I actually came off socials when Nan went off them because she said she was sick with COVID, right?
Yeah, when I had COVID.
Yeah, the first time, when it first happened.
I became crazy on social media.
She said, I was on it so much. I was like, and she said, I'm going off it.
I got dizzy. I was using it so much. I was just like scrolling. I was like, this is crazy all day long.
Made you sick to your stomach. Yeah. So I said, I'm going to do it too. And it was the best thing I've ever done. It was 2020. We did it in 2020.
I was like, because you're not feeling good. And what else are you going to do? Watching TV? You're scrolling.
I'll tell you why I did it. I did it because, and the kid that I'm mentoring was like, have you ever been on socials? And I said, yes. I love the dance videos. And I try and learn the dances.
It's so cute.
He was like, Miss Priya, you do that? And I'm like, well, yeah, I want to be able to dance like that.
Learn some dance moves. I think I learned how to do the Running Man on there.
Did you really?
And try to moonwalk, I did write this down. So
what'd you write?
I just kind of, triggered. Yeah. I just wrote down posting less, doing more, comparing less, reflecting more, discussing less, accomplishing more.
Oh, gosh.
So just kind of,
that's nice.
The difference.
It's brilliant.
That's nice.
Well, I didn't make it up. I copied it.
You have to attribute it to some. You weren't going to attribute it to anybody?
You don't say, we never know.
But I mean,
she has to.
I have to attribute it. I don't know who
By
it's from.
law.
Oh, but I don't know who it's from. I just was scrolling and I was looking up some information and just somebody wrote that and I thought that was good.
Read it again.
Next time I'll attribute it.
Read it
Excuse
again.
me, whoever wrote this.
Somebody else wrote this, but it's so good. Honestly, just read it one more time.
Yeah, it was just a quote. It was like a quote about social media.
Yeah.
That's all it was. I think you could buy it. It was a sign.
Oh, okay.
You know
That's
what I'm saying?
good. Yeah.
Posting less, doing more,
Mm-hmm.
comparing less, discussing more. I'm sorry. Posting less, doing more, comparing less, reflecting more,
Reflecting.
discussing less, accomplishing more.
I love that.
I just thought it was cool. You know what I mean? It's not saying not to do these things.
Well,
it's just
inspirational.
Yeah.
And it's saying less.
Right.
Do this thing that's not as creative and do this thing that's more
It's not saying don't do it. It's just doing less, of it. And I liked it. I thought that's really cool, you know? But yeah.
I love it.
Wasn't my quote.
I'm going to write that down.
Sorry.
We thought you were like total genius.
Wasn't mine. But I will take credit for it. Okay. I'll take credit.
You can't do that.
Next time I'll write down who said it. I don't know. Anyway, but I liked it. I thought it that's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah.
Not saying not to do it, but everything in moderation. I'm all about even when you're eating, everything in moderation.
Yeah.
You can eat everything but moderation, right? I mean,
I think the hardest part is most people find themselves in the position that they're in because they haven't been in moderation.
Yeah.
And so how do you start being moderate?
Ooh, it's tough. I mean, how do you start moderation? It's really like here. Like it's the way you have to change the way you think.
Yeah.
Really, because it has to start up here. If
So
you
what
don't,
do you say? Like,
well,
Probably I would say that the related to moderation is that moment in your life when you begin to be aware of what is going on here.
yeah.
it's a choice. It's a choice you have to make.
When you realize what's going, because at the beginning,
don't like it.
as a heavy phone user, I was on social media for hours before, but there's a moment where you realize what's going on.
Yeah.
And then I spending too much time, and then you have to work on the moderation.
Yeah.
It's something you have to be aware. So being aware.
Being aware,
changes their thought process and how you're going to, and you just have to take the steps and do it. It's moderation. Okay, I'm going to cut down. I'm going to be on this for, 2 hours instead of 4 hours. Like you have to give yourself some goals too, probably. That's what I do.
That's good.
Even when eating, like I'm same way. Like, I mean,
That's a whole nother podcast.
I know, but when people diet, it's like, just moderate. I mean, things could be, you could eat dessert. It's just moderation. You don't have to eat the whole pie. You have a piece of pie.
And that is the hardest part, I think. Yeah. So I'll tell you what I said. I wrote down 2 questions. And one was like, when I make a decision to change something about myself, I always go, okay, whatever I'm doing, like watching dance videos on Instagram and trying to dance like everybody on there. But I'll tell you, what I say is, I don't like how I feel. So I identify that. And then I go, I have to give this up. So what am I really gonna miss about this? And I go through, what am I going to miss?
I don't get that deep, but that's good.
I do. And I say, what am I going to miss? And when you're really honest, you go, nothing. I'm going to miss nothing. I just lost an hour of my life trying to dance to the Applebee's song.
But were you having fun?
Know.
Were you having fun?
No, because I felt less than because I couldn't do the dance. That's not I can't do that stuff.
No, I get it. I get what you're saying.
But what I said was, what am I going to miss? And then I said to myself, what am I going to gain by not doing that? So what will I miss? But what will I gain? That was the process I took when Nan sort of really challenged me about it. I was like, you're giving up all of that? And then I was like, what am I going to miss? What am I going to miss? Nothing. 0. I will miss nothing about this because all it does is, and I have a wonderful, happy, healthy life. And even when I would go on those socials or when I'd be like roaming around the internet, you see people on like these amazing trips and like, you're like, oh, you get out the phone and you're like, I don't think I've taken a trip for 3 years or whatever.
Well, that's
you know
what
what I'm
Carlos
saying?
was saying.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you know, their world isn't as wonderful as it looks.
I know.
You know, so that's the thing too. It's like you said, people kind of, you know, look at someone else's life and like, why isn't my life like that?
Yeah.
That's hard. You know?
But probably for me, probably that one is the biggest problem we have right now in general. Social media.
Yeah.
Combined with all the Netflix and Apple and all this stuff.
Yeah.
That's the really big deal right now.
Well, I think it's...
And how are we dealing with that?
Yeah.
The whole world.
You know, it's really cool because, you know, you think it has some great qualities to it also.
Yeah.
I mean, like you have families that live all around the world and they get to see pictures of, you know, their cousins' kids that are all the way in, you know, England or, you know, Holland and they all share their memories.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, those are some really good things.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, it's more of the abusiveness.
The problem also, I think that the problem is the way it's designed to work. It's not designed for you to see some photos of your family. It's designed for you to be hooked to it for hours.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. One day, I began to scroll at 11, 10 o'clock, and he began to show me videos of babies doing funny things. Like, and I was laughing and sending those videos to Juni.
Yeah. How many hours passed? How many hours?
4 o'clock in the morning. 4 o'clock in the morning.
That's crazy. See, it's like it draws you in. It sucks you in.
It kept sending me more. And I was laughing, like, cute babies doing this stuff. And I went, oh, it's so cute.
I got to send this.
And little dogs and puppies. And I went, oh my God, this is so cute. And sharing that. And then,
so think about it.
And then
it's like a pandemic. You're like actually getting people sick. You're actually pushing the content out there and getting them hooked on puppy and baby videos.
Next day, my wife told me, Carlos, what happens to you yesterday? I have like hundreds of shares. I said, I don't know. I think finally I realized how social media works.
Yes.
Because I couldn't get any sleep yesterday.
Well, and then here's the worst part is that then your algorithm changes. So every 5 seconds on your Instagram feed. Yeah. And I actually love Instagram. I think it's really artistic and creative and beautiful. But really, now we know something about each of us.
But that happens to you at some point.
Of course it does. Like you can look up something and then it's popping up all over the place. You're like one thing. You're like, oh my gosh, how did it know that? You know, that sometimes you think it's hearing you. It just heard our conversation.
Now, even when I was scrolling, you talk about something, it show up.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my gosh.
You feel like it hears you.
Too much.
But, you know, like I said, it doesn't mean we're not saying anything's wrong with Instagram or any of those things. We're not saying that.
And there's no, like, for us, we don't, like, we're not judging about that.
No.
I mean, I would have to judge myself first, which I already have.
I mean, I'm still guilty. Yeah. I'm still guilty of everything. I'm just trying to slow down.
Well, I actually checked my screen time. I've made a decision, everybody.
Okay, what's your decision?
I'm only going to have 2 hours of screen time a day.
Well, then I'm not texting you anymore then.
Yeah, don't text me.
Carlos, don't text her.
Don't text me, call me.
Call me.
Yeah.
2 hours
Period,
is decent.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
I can
nothing.
go on, I can buy something on Amazon, be done with it.
Oh, that's going to be a problem.
That's
going to be a huge problem.
I'm going to be very quick because I might shop a little bit.
Because when you start looking and shopping, excuse me, you could be scrolling for hours.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
You're like, oh my gosh, how long have I been on here?
That's why it's 2 hours.
I've been looking for furniture for like a chair or something.
It takes time.
Oh my gosh.
You have to research. You have to know what you're buying.
Oh, I'm going to see.
It takes time.
It's exhausting. You should be accountable. I should look at your phone every day.
2 hours of screen time.
We should make her show us her phone.
How many hours are you going to do?
I didn't say that was my goal.
Are you going to make any goals?
Yes. My goal is to shut my phone off at 7:00 at night.
Okay.
And not get up and first thing in the morning and go to my phone.
Okay.
I'm going to, do my quiet time.
Okay. I'm going to make you accountable.
Okay. Make me accountable.
Yeah.
But I don't. I want to work on, I don't know how to do it, but I really want to work on not answering back so quickly. I want to work on that.
Then don't.
I know. Just everyone has to get over it if I don't answer you back. So if I don't answer you back for a day, don't get mad.
I don't text you anyway.
Carlos, if I don't answer you back for a day, don't get mad.
There.
You used to
Now
do
we
that
fixed
sometimes.
everything. We told each other.
I'm used to that. You do that all the time. I'm used to it.
It's been 3 days and I haven't heard back from Nancy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That won't affect me.
No, I think for me, I get mad. I mean, it's so crazy. I'm just so weird. I guess I get mad. I go, they're going to expect me to text them right back. I don't want to text right back.
Oh my gosh. I heard
that
the
it?
most amazing thing today.
What?
Okay. You teach people about the way you want to be treated by what you allow and what you communicate to them.
Oh, that's good.
So I heard that today on Daniel Amen, his podcast, which is Change Your Brain Every Day. Oh, I'm going to have to give up some podcasts.
That's great.
But whatever
That's right.
you do,
That's
everybody, don't give up on podcasts.
Add that into your screen time.
Yeah. We're like a bypass. We don't count as part of your screen time, everybody.
I'm not.
No, but on that podcast, so what I'm trying to say to you is the reason people expect you to respond
'Cause I do
instantly
respond.
is because you do.
Right.
And you're going to have to go through the discomfort for a short period of time.
Yeah.
Of people feeling disappointed. What was it that you learned?
What did I
was it that
learn?
you said about I have to get comfortable with other people being disappointed by me?
Oh, yeah. I have to. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
Yes.
Something about I have to be comfortable, with disappointing people.
Yeah.
I have to learn that it's okay to disappoint people sometimes.
That's it.
That I have to be okay with that. Like I
Yeah.
can't always worry about not disappointing people.
Yeah.
Because I'm, I don't like to
Sounds
disappoint
simple, but it's
people.
not.
It's not. So,
Yeah.
but
So
have to, you're
okay, so
right.
what's your goal? Do you have a goal?
I'm working on my goal right now, which is not using my phone at least a couple of hours before going to bed.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's actually the most achievable
And I'm
of the
very
3
busy
goals.
working with my kids,
that's that's
trying
important.
to have them, share time with each other. Being more
My goal is totally unrealistic and out of reach.
2 hours? I don't know how
but
you're going
it's
to do
fine.
that.
No,
I think she's going to struggle because she likes to shop online.
I'm going to try.
Okay, we'll take
I'm
the
going to
try.
work really hard. I'm going to work hard.
So on an average
but
day,
I don't believe that going shopping counts as a screen time.
what?
Probably because I don't do it too much.
Well, I'll
Of course
tell
it
you.
does because it
But-
keeps
No,
your
no.
mind stimulating.
No, let me tell you something. I don't actually go into stores anymore.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
we don't do it very much. We
Yeah.
don't shop like
Right.
we used to. Like
We
we do a lot
don't.
of online
So
shopping.
to me, it's
But
more like a tool.
But it's still consuming. It consumes your time.
I think that there's a difference. Like if I need
do?
coffee pods, I don't want to go to Publix to
Okay.
pick up coffee
I
pods.
get that. But what happens when you scroll off the coffee pods?
Okay,
and you're
that's when
going-
it starts
Yes,
counting.
That's what happens. It like
I know
it
what I'm
lets you
going
in.
to do.
What?
I'm going to get a big hourglass and I'm going to turn it over.
Perfect.
And that's what I'm going to do. And then every time I come off the computer,
It'll be like
I'm going to put it on its
ding, ding.
side.
What's that? What's that?
The Jeopardy music?
How's it go?
Do, 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 do.
It's gonna be like she's gonna be looking at it. It's gonna be like, oh, okay, maybe I'll tilt it. I'm gonna tilt it to the side a
The
little bit.
sands
Let's
of
just
the
tilt it.
hourglass are
She's gonna tilt it sideways.
You will see she will tilt it. Like,
I'm not
what happens if
tilting
I
it.
tilt it 45
The
degrees?
only reason why I say
Maybe it
that
slows down a little bit.
it will. The only reason why I say that is because I get caught up in the same thing. I go to look for something or to do some shopping because I Instacart a lot, and then I'm like, oh, let's see. As I'm off that, let me check this out. And it's like because things pop up. Revolve clothing on the side as I'm doing my Instacart. So then I'm like, oh, let me click this. So I click that. Then I'm like,
By the way, we are not
Jeez.
being paid for a Revolve
No.
endorsement, sadly.
but that's what happens.
Yeah.
It pops up, and you get it sucks you in. It's like
It's
it
like
knows.
I needed that skirt.
I'm like, oh, that dress is pretty. Let me
my
look at it. I'm like, what happened to my grocery shopping? I gotta go back.
Hours later.
That's what happens.
You went from sliced turkey to Revolve dresses.
I know that's what happens.
Well,
Anyway.
we're going to do better. And I think disconnecting to reconnect. I mean,
Yeah.
when I say, what am I going to miss? It's nothing compared to what I'm going to gain, which is peace.
Yeah.
Like a quietness. and a serenity about your life that everybody thinks is almost impossible to find.
Yeah.
But you have to start with yourself. You have to motivate it yourself.
Right.
That's come from within.
Right. Fill yourself up. Like, find, like I said, it, your own growth, like with other things first, and just, and then,
I love that. My takeaway from today is what your unoriginal thought was.
I'll let you have it. Would you like a copy?
I do. I'm going to write it down after this.
Yeah.
But I think we've actually been going about an hour.
Yeah. Wow. It goes by so fast when we talk about stuff. But
I know.
But it was
It's
good.
valuable.
It is.
It's valuable. I mean, I'll tell you, eye-opening.
Your statistics?
The statistics
That's scary.
are insane.
But anyway.
Yeah. All right. Let's.
Okay.
So let's close with some thoughts. Like mine are, what are you going to miss versus what you're going to gain? Yours is being in moderation.
Yeah, just moderation.
Do less.
Do less. Yeah.
Do less.
Just less. It doesn't
And
mean not
be
to
more.
Right. And not saying not to do these things. It's just doing less of them.
Yeah.
And you can have
Yeah.
you can still have Instagram and all that stuff,
Yeah.
but it's just not consuming your,
your whole soul.
Yeah.
Carlos, what's your takeaway? What do you want to share?
I would say for everyone, it's time to be in control.
Yeah.
And it's now, and it's time to be aware of what's going on.
Aware. That's so good. That's really
that.
good. Being
Awareness.
Awareness.
So good, Carlos.
But I think, like you said, Carlos, not to not end this, but like he said, it's like you know when you're doing too much. Like you feel it. You get like that. You know it. It's like, okay, let me step back for a second. Let me take a breather.
Agreed. So I think that's it for us today.
Very
Do you want to close us out?
Yes. Remember to take things lightly while doing life deeply.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next time, everybody.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.